And we're live once again on another Tuesday, and I have, hey, it's Sarah Clay in the house today, and we're talking about tips for creating consistent content. Say that 3 times fast. So, Sarah, welcome. So, why don't you go ahead and, just in case somebody doesn't know you, who you are and what you do, and then we'll get stuck in.
Hey, Gillian, it's so good to be here. I'm so excited. Yes, jazz hands. I'm a LinkedIn trainer and I help entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and business owners demystify LinkedIn. So I break it down into manageable bite-sized chunks and explain it really simply. And I teach one-to-one, I teach in groups, but my new baby is Linking in Academy, which is my membership group, which I opened in May. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. I was on a call with my members today and I'm reopening the doors in November, which is really exciting. So we're getting more people in. Yay! And it's wonderful. Yeah, they're making amazing progress, my lovely LinkedIn learners. So yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome. And I think I'm scheduled to come talk to your group in November,
You
correct?
are scheduled to come
I
into my
am.
group
So
in November. All
that
about
will be
video.
exciting. Yay! So today we're talking about tips for creating consistent content on LinkedIn or wherever you want to create content, but we're pretty much focused on LinkedIn. But this is co-streaming to YouTube as well. So content's content. And the idea behind it is the C word, that is consistency. Because that's the one thing I noticed, Sarah, that it's like I'll go to people's profiles and they'll like have a bunch of stuff in a row, 3 days, 1 day, 2 day, and then months, crickets, nothing there. And I think that's the problem, is like people, they have all this content, they pop it right out and then disappear off the planet. And so consistency, I'm sure this is something you teach in your academy. Consistency is the best thing. So before we even start talking about creating the content, to you, what is consistency? And for something like LinkedIn, let's just talk about LinkedIn because that's my jam. So what to you is consistency, and how much should we be posting?
That is an amazing question. Really, really good question, Gillian. So people come to me, my students, whatever, and they say, how often should we post on LinkedIn? And I reply, the most important thing is to be consistent. So look at your own schedule, look at your life. How busy are you? So you're really better off posting once a fortnight, let's say, or even once a month, than, as you say, just chuck loads and loads of stuff out and then nothing for months and months on end. I mean, ideally, I'd say once a week would be perfect, but I really do understand that people just don't have the time to necessarily do that. Although I do have some secret tips for helping save time with posting. But you're really better off just posting when you can, as you can, but on a consistent basis. So if you can manage once a week, perfect. If you can manage once a fortnight, that's good too.
Awesome.
But still better than that whole thing about just leaving it for gaps, because it's about building trust.
Yes.
And if you're not there regularly, people forget about you. They will. And that trust will start to wane. So if you're showing up consistently and always creating, interesting, relevant content, that's going to build the trust.
Okay, that's awesome. And so what about overposting? Like if so once a week, I know I personally post on average 3 to 4 times a week. That's it. And I kind of space it out because I'll spend a day kind of really focusing on comments, and we can talk about that later too. But it's like I try to space out my content and take particular days of the week of, I'm going to post this kind of thing on a Monday and this kind of thing on a Wednesday or whatever. So I kind of have a content plan, but not necessarily have all the content ready to go in a schedule or anything like that. I do everything organically. But I see some people and it feels like they're posting so much. I feel sick of them. For want of a better phrase.
Yes. And I actually think, because I've been doing some experiments myself lately and posting maybe twice a day just to see what happens. And what I've noticed, if I post twice in a day, the first post just drops off completely. And the second post takes over. And it's a real shame, because that first post isn't being shown to as many people as I would like. So I don't think that more than once a day is a good idea on LinkedIn. And as regards, somebody being in your feed and just filling your feed the whole time, you don't want that. You don't want to overpost, and so that people they do get sick of you. Even if what you're posting about is good quality content, people are still going to get sick of you if you're overposting, for sure.
I agree. It's like you don't want to be that guy. It's like, oh, here she is again.
Yes.
And it was interesting. I was talking with Jeff Young the other day, and he actually showed me that you can actually go and see the people that you follow and see how often they're posting. So you can kind of go, why am I seeing that person all the time? And you might go and have a look and say, oh, because they're posting 100 times this week. It gives you an average. And maybe that's a good thing too, to kind of see some of the people that are your mentors and get some ideas of how much does John Esperian post? He talks about 5 times a week, 3 to 5 times a week. And I think if you go and check John following, you see that he actually he talks, oh, I forget the expression, but he lives
talk.
There we go.
I think that's
he does what he says. He does what he says.
Yeah,
okay.
He does.
So give us some tips.
Okay. So one of the things that people say to me a lot is that they don't know what to post about. So it's about creating ideas. And I love what you just said, Gillian, about you have an idea that you're going to post about this kind of thing on one day and this kind of thing on another day and this kind of thing on another day, because that's going to help you generate ideas and generate content. So what I teach my students, and this is really valuable stuff, Gillian, is I teach them to create content categories or content buckets. So I actually, when I do my slides, I've got these buckets on a slide, and each bucket has a different subject or a different title. And within that bucket, you throw in any content ideas that are relevant to that bucket. And then when you're ready to post, you go into your bucket, you pick one piece of paper out and you go, right, I'm going to post about that today. So titles of the buckets, I mean, it depends on your business, obviously, but things like, one of the key ones, I would say, your first bucket is, what problems do you solve for your clients? So what I say to my students is, sit down with some scraps of paper, some Post-it notes on a computer, however you write, and just bash out idea after idea after idea. What problems you solve, one-liners, one word. And each one of those problems that you solve is a post. So you put all of those in your problem-solving bucket. And then maybe another bucket might be frequently asked questions. So questions that you get asked about your business, but also about working with you. How much does it cost? How do I employ you? How long will it take? Will I have to do a lot of work? All of those kinds of questions. And each one of those, again, is a post. And so you think maybe another bucket might be about you, because people, as we know, want to know about who you are. So let's say you've got these 3 buckets. So what you're going to do, each time you want to write a post, you'll pick out of one bucket. I'll write a post about a problem solving. And then you'll pick something out of another bucket, which might be a frequently asked question. And then you go into your other bucket about you, and you'll write a post about yourself. And that way you're going to ensure that your content is varied. So it's always relevant. It's always on brand. It's always giving entertainment or information, but it's varied. So you're not always posting about the same things all the time.
I love that. And then where do you kind of decide, this will be a graphic post, this will be a text post, maybe a slide or a video? Where does that sort of fall in the bucket list?
So each bucket, each kind of content can, and that is actually the beauty of LinkedIn. And that's one of the things I love about LinkedIn, is that we have these so many different options and different ways to post. So you can be strategic and have another list to make sure that you're sometimes doing sliders or carousels, sometimes you're doing text posts, sometimes you're doing image posts, or you can look at the post itself and think, how's that going to work best? So I've just written a post, just finished it just now, which I'm posting on Thursday, because that's my blog post day. all about building your LinkedIn profile. And what I've done it as a slider. So, we're not supposed to call them sliders, are we? Andy Ford
I
gets very
like
cross.
sliders. Sliders
Andy
is
Ford
good.
gets very cross if we call them sliders. I think they're supposed to be called carousels or document
Or I
posts.
think they're documents. I think they're called document posts. Like that's the official LinkedIn click their documents.
Yeah, but hey, anyway, sliders is much better because they slide.
They slide.
Yeah, so I've written, some little tips on the different slides and posted those, and I'll be posting those up on LinkedIn. But equally, it could have been a text post, but I just felt I hadn't done a slider for a while, so I'll do a slider.
So that's awesome. Those are awesome tips. And I'm just all of a sudden I just thought about it and I thought, why am I not repurposing the format of if I have a video and I'm talking about a particular thing, I do that video and then, I maybe put it on YouTube and then I'm done with it. But now all of a sudden I'm going, why don't I take that same post and then maybe in a month or two, turn that into a document post, a slider? Maybe I want to turn that into a graphic. Like you could actually take the same content and just kind of change the format and it's still relevant because you never know that someone might absorb it better in a video, but the same information could be put in a document and they might prefer a slider because it's like they see the written and the visuals and, oh, now I can save that. Whereas a video, you watch it and sometimes that's it. You don't grab it. So all of a sudden I realized, why am I not repurposing my own content, but just changing the format? So that's kind of a good idea, isn't it?
It's a brilliant idea. Repurposing content is such a time saver. And that's one of the things I was saying, all these little time savers.
Yes.
And that's a really great idea. And the other thing that you can do is, let's say I've written this post about my building a profile. So I'm talking in my post about your profile photo, I'm talking about your banner, I'm talking about your about section. That's 3 separate posts. So one post, you can break it down and pull out little bits and have just little text posts or just an image post with one thing on it. So there's so many different ways that you can repurpose content. But I love that. Yeah, definitely. Using the same content in a different style is a great idea because we all access content and visuals and sound in really different ways. So then you're right, you're absolutely right, you're going to appeal to more people.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I see, oh my gosh, we have a lot of comments. So I think I want to hop over to the comments because that's why we go live, because otherwise we just do a video. So we need to do our comments. So we always have the king of content, Jeff Young. We love Jeff Young. He's awesome. He shouted both of us out. We love Jeff Young. Help is on the way, dear. Help is on the way.
See, now that was a repurposed piece of content. So about 2 hours ago, I thought, oh, let me do a little reel. I'll do a reel on Instagram because I'm on Instagram as well. So reel on Instagram is just a film and there's ready-made music that you can add or sound or whatever. So I've seen reels using this amazing sound clip from Mrs. Doubtfire from Robin Williams. And it's the bit where she goes, help is on the way, dear, help is on the way. So I thought, right, I'm going to use that audio and make a little film. And it's 6 seconds long. So I'm sitting here, I stood up, held my phone and I wobbled it around and I'm going to tell everybody about this live, you see. So I posted it as a reel, screen recorded the reel. I played it on my phone, screen recorded it, and then edited it down, cut it down, and posted it up on LinkedIn.
Cool. And was that a regular post or a story?
That was I did it on both. Cheeky. I did it both stories. It was only 6 seconds. I did it on stories and on my profile.
Wow. And I'm honored because this might be one of your last stories because we're countdown's coming. So
I'm going to miss stories. I really am going to miss stories.
Well, let's just hope something bigger and better is coming. Bigger and better. Look who it is. It's our buddy. Evening, Gillian and
Niraj.
Sarah. Lovely to see you both and can't wait to hear what you have to say. Just love Niraj. We love Niraj.
Thank
And we'll put a plug in. We are with Niraj and Lauren on Clubhouse tomorrow. So we do that every Wednesday, and that's how the four of us kind of do our jam together. So it's always fun. Thank you for showing up, Niraj. That's awesome. Kevin, hello from Dallas, Texas. Gillian, Whitney, and Sarah Clay. Keep rocking LinkedIn Live. Woo-hoo.
We're trying.
Good afternoon, ladies. Looking forward to sharing my lunch with you. Yay, team.
Yay,
and it's so fun that this is like, we're so global. We're so global with these time zones. You know, it's the morning here. It's the afternoon on the East Coast. They're eating lunch. We're having coffee. You're having dinner. It's just...
I have just put dinner in the oven.
Exactly. Craig, nice to see you
Craig.
both. Yay. That's who we got. Nice to see you from Hungary. Woohoo. We love it. We love it. Tina, greetings from Belgium, Gillian and Sarah. Woohoo. It's just like a who's who of list here of all these great people. What about Mick Adams, who posts every day? Well, Mick, he just posts great stuff. So it's like we have no problem with people who post every day. So much of Mick's stuff is thought leadership posts. I learned so much from Mick. He is just absolutely fabulous. I think it's the people that, you know, they're posting just things that are not, I don't know. What do you mean, Sarah? Like the people that kind of, their stuff seems irrelevant. They're the ones who make polls of like, you know, they're not even like, do the thumbs up if you like this post, a happy face, and do you like vanilla or chocolate ice cream?
Do you like tea or coffee? Or
those to me are just like I'm not interested. I don't know.
It's amazing, you know, that somebody like Mick can create such valuable content time after time after time. I mean, it's brilliant.
Yes. And we'll have to talk with Mick because I'd love to know, like, what is his content strategy? Because he does some really good stuff and he does really, really good articles. Like I remember once I read a whole article about being banned from LinkedIn and some of the things that you can do that can get you in trouble. And that was very, very informative. So it's just, and we didn't talk about articles. That's something too, Sarah. It's like, where do articles fit in? Okay, don't be that guy. Oh, it's Jeff Young again. When somebody would tell him to shut up, you get banned. You get banned, Jeff. We can't tell you to shut up. All of a sudden LinkedIn rips you off and you have to come back again. But we always loved Jeff. You post really good stuff, and he does. I love his newsletters. His newsletters are fabulous. Good evening, ladies. It's 10:40 p.m. by my watch. She's in India. She's in India. So it's just amazing the reach we get and how global this is, that we have people, we need the New Zealanders being up in the middle of the night, the Australia people. Never, Jeff Young, never. I love the little chatting that goes on in the comments. Yana. Sarah Clay's personal brand stands out with an unusual join of orange and purple. Very brave. And it goes, as I see here now, with her sharp character. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, thank you, Yana. That's very kind.
We absolutely love your orange and purple. And it's so funny, Sarah, because I didn't grow up in Phoenix. I used to live in Phoenix, Arizona, and we have the Phoenix Suns there. And that's their colors, purple and orange. So I always think of the Phoenix Suns. So you think you have your own personal basketball team.
Yes.
Andy, I like chocolate and vanilla. we can do the thumbs up on both. Absolutely. So Sarah, talk about articles. Where do articles fit in the whole creating consistent content?
Well, I love articles. And I mean, the thing is, of course, now we're on LinkedIn and everything's just, we're moving so fast. Everything's going so fast. So as you know, Gillian, articles don't get such good reach, but they're still so valuable because they really do show thought leadership and, a depth of knowledge that you can't, you can't display in a shorter post. But again, with articles, you see, if you write an article and post it, you can pick out loads of information from that article and create smaller posts from that article. So I think they're really worth doing, but you don't want to do them all the time. You need to do the shorter posts as well, I think, because the shorter posts are much more accessible. But I do think articles are important. But of course, now we've got longer text posts. I'm wondering.
What are your thoughts on those? What are your thoughts on those?
I don't
want to read that much.
As long as the content's valuable and it's informative, then I think every now and again it's okay to post a longer post. But what I did see initially was people just blah, 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 and writing just for the sake of writing, thinking the algorithm's going to love it because it's a new feature of LinkedIn. So I need to fill this space. But fill it with something worthwhile. Yeah, no problem. But don't just chuck a load of fluff in there just to fill the space, or the metaphorical space.
Yeah. And I to be honest with you, I don't know if I've read a whole long post yet. I get about halfway through and I'm like, like this could have been a short post. I just feel it's dragging. So, apologies to anybody who's written long posts. I don't like them as much, but I find that I'm probably going to be better if you include a lot of white space. So if you break it up with space, some emojis, it'd be nice if you could throw in.
I'll tell you who does long posts really well, and that's Ariel Lee. She does a long post. She did one today, and she's got her unicorns in there, and she's got other bits and pieces. And how she writes is so lively and
very
engaging,
friendly.
and there's friendly, and
her southern drawl.
Yes. So they can be done well. And there's this new fashion at the moment, this hashtag, this little girl is me, or something.
Oh, I love those. I love those. I read those are the ones I am actually reading the whole thing, because they're mesmerizing. They're absolutely mesmerizing.
I read one the other day from who's it, Minu Patel, and she had written all about being second generation Asian, growing up in England, and it was just right here in the heart. It was amazing.
Yep, I agree. I absolutely agree. And talking about articles, I love the idea of you could take an article and then you could break it into small bits, and you could maybe even say, kind of like, use them as trailers and say, maybe go read my whole article. Like you could even go back. But the one thing that I really like about articles is they're indexed by Google. So if people are searching for something, like I'm the Google goddess. When I'm searching for things and I see a LinkedIn pulse at the top, and then it shoots me back to an article, I'm shocked. But sometimes I'm going back to an article written 3-4 years ago. So it's a really great place that you think, okay, nobody cares about my post. But if somebody finds you from 3 or 4 years ago, and then they start following you because they found you through a Google search, I think that's totally worth it. It's really, really good. And a second thing is, sometimes I'll take my posts and they're all on a theme, and I'll make an article and I'll embed some of the posts, because you can embed posts in an article. You can embed YouTube videos in an article. So like I did a one on LinkedIn cover stories because I was sick of sending people to 5 different posts. So I said, I'm going to just do a roundup article that includes the information from all of my LinkedIn cover story posts. And it did fabulous.
Wow, that's so clever. I don't think I've ever done that. So well done, Gillian. That's a great thing. And I use, when I write a blog post for my website, I'll just copy and paste it into an article on LinkedIn.
Yes. And you're not penalized. People think you're penalized, that like, the Google gods are going to go, oh, it's, duplicate content and this and that. You're not being penalized by Google. The only thing from an SEO perspective is it would be good if you change your title, so that your title to your website blog post is one thing, and then just kind of change it up a little bit on LinkedIn, and then maybe just wait a couple of days and make sure you're doing your blog article first and then do your LinkedIn article, and give it a couple of days so that, Google's indexed it and stuff like that, so that your website gets sort of up higher than the LinkedIn post. So,
Right.
from an
Yeah.
SEO perspective, I think that's probably the best way to go. But I think you're absolutely right. Take those blog articles that you're doing on your website and, for gosh sake, stick them on LinkedIn, because people
Yeah.
don't always go to your blog.
No, they don't. A lot of people don't bother. And, you spend a lot of time writing these things, make the most of them, and you want people to read them. You want to share them with as many people as possible. So it's a great way to do it. But that's a really good tip, Gillian, to wait a few days for the SEO thing.
Yeah, you can, if you're techie and you're kind of like you're the Google Analytics person, and you can go in and you can like force the indexing quicker, but it's like most of us don't do that. Most of us are like, Google
No.
Analytics, what the heck is that? I don't
No.
even want to know. Shut that door. Shut that door. Okay, so we got a couple of others. Hey. I couldn't stop admiring your backdrop, Sarah. So, Sarah, that's actually, can we talk about that for a second? Because it's absolutely gorgeous. I love what you have there.
Somebody the other day said to me, "Is it a screen?"
Oh, like a
It's
virtual.
real. Look, it's real.
There's my wall.
I painted it myself.
I would actually love to see you and Ella, or on a live together, because she has this gorgeous purple wall. You have the gorgeous orange wall. And if we put you together, it would be like awesome. So we need to get you two on a call together, because that would be awesome. And you guys know each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be, I love your wall too. I love your wall. You can write 125 characters in articles. So what's the difference with a long post? I still don't have long posts. I can't even write them. Like I get edited if I go beyond. I'm still on the same.
Oh,
I'm
are
probably
you?
one of those weird I don't have dark mode either. So it's like,
I
I don't know. Yeah,
Well, I was
last
one
in
of the
line.
last to get creator mode, although I'm trialing without creator mode this month to see if it makes a difference. It's actually, I think it's slightly worse without it. Now, since I've had it, so I've taken it off and I'm keeping an eye, but actually I think things are going slightly downhill. But I'm keeping going. I'm going to stick with it for a month and see.
Exactly. And actually, speaking of keeping an eye on it, I do want to just talk about that for a second, because that is, if it wasn't for you, Sarah, I couldn't have done my experiment with creator mode, where what I was doing was I did a month with creator mode and then a month without creator mode, just so that I could track my stats and see, did it make a difference or not? And sort of in the spirit of John Asperian, I wanted to be, scientific, but I don't want to have Shield, because, nothing against Shield, but I know that some people have had issues and it's expensive. And so I wanted to know, how do I track my stuff? And you, in your infinite wisdom, shared with us in Clubhouse how you track your stats, and you do it manually, organically. And can you just talk about that for a second? And then if anybody wants to be involved with that, how could they
very
follow
welcome
up?
to be involved with that. So because I used to run my own social media agency, and I had clients, and I used to look after their social media for them. I got used to looking at stats every single day and monitoring those stats. And I've got them on the computer. I've got them in my Agora Pulse, which is the scheduling app that I use. But for me, being a visual person, I needed those stats where I could physically see them. And my assistant, my lovely assistant, Adelaide, who used to come to the office 4 days a week, and we used to work together and play the Bee Gees. And she and I created this system. So it's an A4 piece of paper. It's a PDF, and it's got the 3 main stats on them: the search appearances, post views, profile views. And you literally just write the numbers in the square, and then you write plus or minus. In fact, I've changed mine. I now write a happy face or a sad face. So I write a little happy face if the stats have gone up, or a sad face if they've gone down. And I've got a new thing that at the end of every month, I count how many happy faces and how many sad faces I have. So how many times they've gone up or down per day. luckily my follower numbers always go up, so that's good. And it just keeps me on track. So if, for example, my profile views have suddenly rocketed one day, I'll think, oh, what did I do yesterday? Oh, I did that post about whatever it was. I think, right, I need to do more of those. And it just keeps me on track. And it's so simple.
It is.
Yeah.
And you just do it over your cup of tea in the morning. I do
Well,
it with my coffee. I do it with my coffee.
Gillian, you were wonderful. You challenged me to make a film of me doing this. So behind this computer, I'm not going to show you now because the office is a bit of a mess, but behind this computer, I've got a little kitchen. It's just a kettle and some tea and coffee and stuff. And every morning I come in here, put the kettle on, and then I stand there while the kettle's boiling and I just write my stats on my piece of paper. It's very, very simple. And then I send you the piece of paper and you do the same.
Yep. It's absolutely perfect. And I love it because it really does give you a feel and for how you're doing, what's working, what's not working. And, you kind of go, oh, okay, so what's going on? And maybe it will say, I'm not getting as many connections, followers, whatever. I'm not growing my network. Maybe I got to be doing some stuff. Maybe I should. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll go back through a couple of recent posts and anybody who commented, I might say, well, you know what, maybe I'll reach out to that person and see if they want to connect. And, I'm not very aggressive with going out and making new connections. That's just not me, introvert me. But that's one way. But I have found this has been so helpful. Plus, I think it's a boost to see that it's consistent little baby steps that make the difference, because you might just say, oh, it doesn't feel like I'm getting anywhere. But if you start to see, oh yeah, I actually got views. I'm getting people are searching for me. I'm getting more followers, and it's baby steps. But if it's going up, you're moving in the right direction. If it's not going up, then you need to get help, and you need to go and work with a LinkedIn coach like you. And maybe you want to go to Sarah's Academy and learn how to do this.
Actually, one of the things I do every Friday, I post in the Academy Facebook group and I say, come on, let's see your stats, because they've obviously all got these sheets and they fill them in every day. And so every Friday they take either a screenshot or a photo of their monthly sheet and they put it into the group. So then I can keep an eye on how well they're doing or whatever. And it's great. And they all cheer each other on and they say, wow, your search appearances are really high this week or today, or, what did you do? And it generates the conversation. And it is is that your lawnmower, Gillian? And it is a great way, as you say, it boosts them. It really drives them forward. It's fantastic.
That's good. That's good. Well, since the gardeners are right outside my window, this is probably a good time to wrap it up. So if people wanted to get your cheat sheet, how do they do that? Do they contact you?
My plan was to have got it all ready and organized and have a link and everything. And so it would send out automatically, but I didn't get a chance to do that today. So if you would like my cheat sheet, just send me a DM. Say, can I have your cheat sheet, please, Sarah? Let's keep it simple.
So just click on Sarah, go and connect with her, follow her, send her a DM. Are you open? Can people DM you even if they're not connected to you?
Yeah, I'm open.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up here. The gardeners went away. So they're looking like they're coming back. Oh, the fun of being live. But anyways, thank you so much, Sarah, for being on the show today. This is absolutely awesome. You have shared some great tips here with us. And everybody, I do suggest you follow Sarah, you connect with Sarah, and just thank you. We'll get to the comments afterwards, but this has just been an awesome time. So thanks for being here, Sarah. Any final tip you want to leave us with?
Oh, crikey. No, just be consistent and be you. That's a really, really important thing on LinkedIn. Don't try to be this sort of, somebody that you're not. Just be yourself, be consistent, and you'll rock it, I'm sure.
Love it. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.